So, Helldiver, you want to be a tanker. So, this is going to be our tank for the evening, morning, whatever the fuck time you're at. And this is my good friend Chris. He will be driving and or gunning depending upon what mood he's in. He's not very talkative. Before we can get into any actual training, it's very important that we know our equipment. So, the Bastion is equipped with two primary sources of damage. The 120mm high velocity cannon, and the heavy machine gun as your coax, with of course the treads for anything that gets unfortunately too close. Here are some exact statistics for you to study if you feel like it. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the fact that you're in a fucking tank, and that most things can't actually hurt you. For example, most small arms fire will just bounce off of your thick, beefy metal armor. This is why you should formulate some kind of a priority target list for things that can actually damage your big hunk of junk. Here is a short little tier list for things that you should probably be shooting with your main gun and things that you probably shouldn't be shooting with your main gun. Hulks are in the middle because, you can kill them really quickly with a heavy machine gun, and most of the time they aren't going to be doing that much damage to you. The next thing I should talk about are the different roles that are played by the different crew members in the tank. Of course, you have your driver and your gunner, and of course there are two passengers, which can do jack shit and fuck all when you actually want them to shoot the people around you. In terms of importance, the driver and the gunner are roughly equal, and then most of the time I would recommend putting the two additional passengers in the vehicle when they could be outside providing infantry support. In my personal opinion, however, the gunner should take the role of tank commander due to the fact that they actually have control over all of the tank's firepower and can mark things that they want the driver to turn to in order to get a line of sight and a good shot on them. And I also believe that the driver should listen to the marks from the gunner and have as much communication between the two roles as possible. However, that is just my opinion, and that is down to the choice of your squad, whether the driver is in charge or the gunner is in charge of the vehicle. And I believe that the most important thing for any tank crew is good communication above all else. If you can communicate between your driver and gunner effectively, then you will be able to perform well on pretty much any front in pretty much any situation. Of course, another very important thing that I feel like I should mention is the importance of creating distance between whatever you're shooting at, or whatever's shooting at you, and the tank that you are operating, due to the fact that tanks are inherently long-range vehicles. The job of creating distance obviously falls upon the driver, and should be coordinated heavily with his teammates in order to not piss the gunner off. Another very important thing, especially in close-range city maps, is utilizing cover even in your gigantic armored box. Because despite the fact that a lot of things cannot hurt you, you are not invincible, and a tank turret will still fuck your shit up. And so, try and cover the sides and rear using buildings, random ass structures, corpses, whatever the hell you can find lying around. And another note on creating distance between you and targets is creating distance between your tank and extremely bad terrain. Because despite the fact that tanks are tracked all-terrain vehicles, getting them stuck is surprisingly easy, and then you gotta wait another 13 minutes to call another one down. Well, that concludes my little spiel about the one democracy-flavored tank in Helldivers 2. I hope at least a morsel of that information was useful to 2 to 3 people out there in the world who are liberating the bots of their lives. I hope you have a good rest of your day.